All right, what's poppin', everybody? It's your boy Armon. We're back with another video. Get in here, get in here. It's time to get into some things, okay? All right, so it's a lot going on with Monique. Now, Monique's Club Shay Shay interview has gone viral. She's went in on everybody from Tiffany Haddish to Tyler Perry, discussing Oprah, um, Lee Daniels, T.S. Madison, good, bad, all of these different things. Monique is no stranger to, controversy and speaking her truth, right? And also in her truth, Monique talks candidly about kind of not being really close with her family and not being really close with her son, Shalon here. Here we are right here. Um, and, I have my thoughts on that, but I'm going to let you guys listen to what Monique actually said first. And then I'm going to let you know what I think. Then I'm going to let you listen to what Shalon's response was. Then I'm going to let you listen to her husband's response to her son. Okay. It's a lot of tea. But let me let you listen to what Monique said first on a club, Shay Shay.
Time around. What's your relationship like? Is he resentful of that?
We're still very much separated.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where you have to pray to the universe and say, let time do the healing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Right.
That's it. Let time do that healing. It may heal it in time and it may not.
Right.
And that's something that we as parents have to say, listen,
Right.
I've done what I could do. I've taken accountability for it. Now it's up to you.
Right.
That's like when somebody's saying, Shannon, I want to apologize to you. Now it is up to you.
Whether or not to accept it.
Whether or not to, but once I give it to you, I've done my part. And don't apologize like no punk. I'm just sorry for everything. That gets your ass out of it. No, break it down.
All right. So, Monique was very honest about, the fact that she, was chasing her dreams, trying to be successful, and she didn't really get it right with her son. All right. And she's apologized for it and, hoping that they could make amends. However, Shalon did not feel that way. He felt a little bit different. He feels like this is all a bunch of lies. And she's gaslighting the public, and there's no relationship. He doesn't desire a relationship with her. She doesn't desire a relationship with him. So he, in a 9-minute Instagram video, he pretty much talked candidly about, his relationship with Monique, how he feels, and where he and why she said what she said, and where they're going with it. So let me let you guys listen to this, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. Hold on.
Faith without work is dead, and hi. I am Shalon. I am a stand-up comedian, Monique's oldest son. I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe in order to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay Shay interview that she did, where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid, that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect, we're all human. But my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still, during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent, and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings are supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then he gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't, I'm glad I didn't do that. And when he told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. It's not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly, I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. I even fought through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? But it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct. But what I can say, good for her, the universe did, bless her with three other sons. Bless her with three other sons. And God willing, I'm sure that one of them, all three of them are adults now. So I'm sure that one of them, God willing, if not all three of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. I still look forward, to that moment for her. But overall, when it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird, but whenever they hear me talk, they don't know what it is. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you were not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. My mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity to do it all over again. I'm happy for her. I hope the Cat Williams tour goes well, but the narrative that she prays for us to reconcile is a false narrative. It's not real, and I'd appreciate it if she stopped saying stuff like that.
That is extremely sad. Let me see. Let me just stop there really quick. Let me stop there because he said a lot there. For me, I understand his pain. I understand his hurt. Me being one of the oldest kids, well, the oldest in my family, um, when my mom had me, she wasn't prepared. She wasn't ready. So I had a lot of issues with that growing up because I felt like I was with my dad and I felt like she just sent me off with my dad and then like after all kept all my brothers and sisters, right? And then it was like we never got to a place where I felt like, listen, you're my mother. I need the love. I need the feeling of my mother, and I never really got that. And so, and then to see your other siblings get that support and get the mother that you had, it's very, very, it's hurtful. And then when you have the mother not take accountability for the things that she put you through, um, almost like you know you need to get over it. Me and my mom used to fight for a lot of years because I would be so hurt because she wasn't there, and I felt like she didn't even try, like, or it was just like, well, she was so defeated in her mind where she just felt like, it is what it is. It happened. There's nothing I could do with it. You hate me, whatever, whatever, whatever. And so we would just constantly fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and battle until, as the years came along, we stopped fighting but it took effort on both sides. It took me to forgive, and it took her to recognize what she did, and to try to make things better. And what I'm hearing him say is, Monique, he would like his mother to be there, but he's not about to be in a situation where he's going to her. And from Monique's end, she's basically saying, I apologized, but if he's not willing to accept my apology, all I could do is wait on the universe to, bring us together. Now, it's funny because he kind of mentioned that, she used to pray to God, and whatever happened with that, somehow she was disappointed by God. So now she's looking towards the universe. So I caught that T too. But the thing is this, it is the parent's job to make sure that that kid feels solid and whole, right? Now, he does have to do his part and try and to release some of the hurt, anger, and resentment. But Monique definitely has to work harder to break down those barriers. You don't get to sit up here and say, well, I said sorry. A simple sorry, an exaggerated sorry, a deep sorry, like sometimes that just isn't enough. And you might need to be sorry over and over and over again for a consistent amount of time. It is what it is. When you have admittedly neglected your child, not been there for them, chased a career, then got married to another man and had other children and gave them the love that this other one is looking for, you don't get to just say, hey, I'm sorry, forgive me. And if they don't forgive you right away, you're washing your hands of it. Monique is a joke, and I'm tired of it. At first, I was here for her, but this triggered me, okay? Because I got my own issues. So this triggered me because you can sit up here and talk about the injustice and unfairness of Hollywood as it pertains to Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, and talk about other people's families when it comes to D.L. Hughley and his wife and his daughters. Meanwhile, you got a son out here that you don't even communicate with because he has not forgiven you the way that your narcissistic, self-centered, big ass thinks that he should. See, just because you can sit on somebody's couch or somebody's, porch talking like Auntie Jemima, slave from the early 1900s, very eloquently and deep. You're not pulling the wool over my eyes anymore, Monique. You're a joke, and everywhere you go, you bring problems with you. You don't like your family, you don't like the people in Hollywood, and you don't even like your own damn son. At some point, Monique needs to take accountability for the bullshit that she's caused in her life. And she doesn't do it, and I believe it. I've listened to that interview. Well, actually, I skimmed through it, and finding out that she's cut her family off, finding out that, she has all these issues in Hollywood, finding out that her and her son are not together, finding out, but she walks around calling a man daddy because he taught her how to be a woman. Like, she's just like, you know what? I'm done with the Monique bullshit. She's a manipulator, a gaslighter, and a narcissist. And she's drama-filled, and everywhere she goes, she falls out, and she's going to have drama with everybody in every scenario. So I don't feel bad for Monique, because Monique is the type of personality that's never going to be happy. She's always going to find a problem. And it's always going to be your fault. It's never her fault. And I'm very triggered and upset because I feel as though you left the burden on this man to come to you when you, as the mother, should be coming to him humbly, as much as it takes, coming to your son and letting him know that you apologize wholeheartedly and you will do whatever it is that you can to be there for him. And you can't tell me that she has done that, because she has then responded And this is when I was done. Let me play.
And communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. You have with your father, where you spoke ill to him, not to mention spoke ill to your mother, but somehow your mother and father and I all have a loving relationship, and communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. The one thing these individuals, and to the individuals out here that oftentimes speak after they've heard one side of the story, there's an old saying: believe half of what you see and none of what it is that you hear. Please don't take our word for it, but what we will convey is this: those who are parents and have raised their parents up to being adults.
The children. Raise their children up to be an adult.
Right on. Those who are parents that raise their children into adulthood know that there comes a time and a place in which they determine their own decisions, their own path. You can have multiple children that are raised in one house, but they act and they take on different things. The reason why it was so important for us to entertain these conversations that we typically have privately, or that we're influenced to have privately amongst the people in our community, is because we need to stop being embarrassed about being human beings and about being Black human beings. You will oftentimes hear us saying we are embarrassing ourselves in front of them. Who is them?
Who are they?
Because when you hear someone articulate these things, that is the slave's mentality. That makes us believe that we as Black people need to conduct ourselves with dignity because white people are watching. You should conduct yourself with dignity because the spirit of you is watching.
Come on.
But we need to have these conversations out loud and taboo because we have a finite period of time together here on this earth. You will travel through infinity with the spirit that you have all alone, and you will not remember the ridicule that you receive, but you will be judging yourself. You will be determining for the rest of your life which way that you go, as you have thus far. So this conversation is about speaking directly to what situations are. And many people oftentimes, when they are presented with an issue, they stay quiet, they hide, they disappear. And what we're saying is that's not who we are, because what you cannot do is you cannot trick an honest person.
Come on.
You can demean, you can say whatever you want to say about them negatively, but what will happen is truth has a way of standing the test of time. I forgot to have my phone to read the last text message that I gave to you, Shalon, where I told you about the understanding of how you are speaking to a woman and how you as a man and how you perceive things may be completely different from how your wife, how your mother, how your sister, how your daughter will look at things. And when you learn how to communicate a little bit better, then things happen a little bit better because of the challenges that this young brother has had with mental illness. So we're communicating that out loud to speak to our community, to say, listen, y'all, if we have more public conversations, there will be less private angst.
Come on.
There will be less private issues that we carry on because we're afraid to communicate in front of white folks.
So when we get to a place where you want to be free, you will stop being scared to say what's real. You'll stop being fearful of having conversations that normally take place in private and nobody ever really knows the outcome.
Actually, I hate Monique. This right here is not a mother that feels bad. This right here is not a mother that cares. I believe him 100%. You know why? Because first of all, I don't give a damn how long you've been with your daddy or whoever this is to you. That's not my father, and I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to my mother. If you know that you've wronged me and we need to work on our relationship and I'm addressing something in response to what you said and I still don't feel that is true, I don't need your husband or your daddy getting up here insinuating that I'm mentally retarded while you sit up here next to this man and gallivanting as if this is some man, your husband, sticking by your side as the wife. This is not the time for you to be some meek, coy, timid, first lady-esque type bullshit. See, I'm tired of this performative act with black people. Everybody wants to be, the man is speaking up for the home. No, get your fat ass up and speak to your child. Why is he always speaking for you? Monique is a joke. Monique is trash. And quite frankly, I don't support her at all. I'm done. I cannot stand Monique after this. I did not realize she was a real life Precious movie. This is ridiculous. You got this man up here insinuating that I'm mentally retarded because I'm saying you're sitting here, you're a lie. You're playing games on the internet. If you really cared, if you really cared about reconciliation, if you really cared about the universe, if you really cared about all of that bullshit you spoke, then Sydney wouldn't be talking. You would be talking. You don't care. You don't care. This is all performative. This is all a part of you guys' charade and your fantasy, your games. Monique is a joke. Sydney is a joke. Sydney doesn't like your kid, your son. He probably never did. He's happy that he's out the picture. And Monique, you're a weak woman. You sit up here, you try to be strong online, everybody else, as you play the victim. Monique is very weak and a disgrace. And I have no respect for her after that. You don't sit up here and let this man insinuate that your kid is mentally retarded because of you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm so disgusted. I'm out of here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And until next time, keep that same energy. And we will see you soon. All right. Peace out.